This here is clover in a field that I fed hay in 2 years ago. And I had noted in a previous video how everywhere that I had fed hay that the ground was scarred. And that was true last year, but in this same area the clover has just exploded. So it's interesting that it took 1 year to recover, and now the field is just doing extremely well. Here on this other side, all this is an area in a previous video where I had sprayed with the ATV four-wheeler, and I'm not saying that the spray had anything to do with this clover bloom. I think it's just the ground was extremely well fertilized in the areas where I had fed the round bale hay. So it is looking very, very good. It's very thick. In another month, all this will be cut for first cutting spring hay, and it should be excellent source of protein for my cows. I've got them rotating with electric fences. I'm doing kind of like mob grazing, although I'm not moving them as frequently as Greg Judy is moving his. I'm doing my moves about once a week, simply because my mob is much smaller than his. He's got over 300 head, I think, and I've got 31. So I'm doing what I can. But and I did some research. The yellow flowers back there are buttercup, and they are toxic when they're green, but when they're cut for hay and dried, the sun deactivates the toxicity. So here's some right here close. From what I understand, that should make for decent hay. Probably not ideal. Wouldn't want to sell it to anybody, but to my cows, they won't care. And they do avoid it when it's green and yellow like that, but I think you'll be fine as hay. So just wanted to share this. Very excited about the clover growth right in here in this area where 2 years ago I fed round bale hay and the cows really scarred up the land. But right now it's looking excellent. Here's the area of land where I had fed hay just this past winter, and that's basically what the area that I was just showing looked like. The cows trample on it. They defecate, and their urine and feces is so strong that it just prevents the grass from even wanting to come up this first year. You can see there's some other areas over there where I fed hay. There's a couple more places over in here, but you can tell that the grass just isn't growing. And the first year that I saw that on the area that I was just looking at, I was like, man, they really hurt the land a lot. But the earth clearly recovers. So I would say that this time next year, these areas that are bare right now will look just like the areas that I showed just a minute ago. They should explode with the clover and all the other stuff due to all the additional nutrients. Just right now it's just too hot, I would say. That right there is volunteer ryegrass. You can kind of see it's in a small patch because around it I had the cows feeding hay this past winter. But in the pasture it's just like that. In some areas it's really thick and really tall, looking good. So I can't wait to see what this area looks like this time next year. Another look at all the volunteer ryegrass coming up. I didn't plant any ryegrass in here, so all the tall stems of grass blades that are coming up is all volunteer. Here's what I did around the big tree there. Cleaned up kind of around it. Now I'll be able to get my mower in closer and keep this little area from getting so growed up. Cows are enjoying what's left of that burn pile. And then there's that big tree that I was trying to open up and just make it a little bit prettier around it. And here's what else I've been working on. So here's that gate that I built in a previous video. I attached another gate that I found in the back and started working on my garden. Put the panels up just to keep the cows and wild hogs out. And then I have 2 rows. Some onions on this first row that I started indoors. And then on down the line I planted some from seed into the ground. And then a row of tomato plants that I started indoors. And they all look to be doing fairly well. And then got room for some peppers that I still have under the LED lights inside. I'll be getting those in the ground pretty soon too. I wanted to comment about this cow here. We bought her at the Emory, Texas sale barn. And when we got her, she was just a really skinny little thing. This other cow would move out of the way. She's the little Brahma looking black cow in the back that I'm talking about. She was so skinny when we got her. And I believe, obviously she's pregnant. Looks like her bag may be starting to fill out. But I'm so proud of how well she's come along. Buying cows from the sale is a little bit of a risk. You don't know what you're getting. But so far I've done pretty well. Got some curious calves here. These are yearlings. These 2 here, the white face and the black cow here, the black steer, are steers. They'll be going to the sale pretty soon. They're looking pretty good. Cows are really enjoying all this nice thick green grass, and they're thriving, I would say. I don't see anybody that are looking skinny. The body condition score would probably be high sixes on most of these. And she's always been this one here has always been our lowest performing cow. She always gets so skinny in the wintertime. And I believe she's pregnant with a calf, but she's looking good. And then my bull, he's been enjoying the, looks like he's been enjoying the burn pile ash right there. There's another cow I bought at the auction. And that's her second calf there. Kind of wanted to get her as an experiment to see what a Jersey and the big black bull that you just saw with the dirty face, wanted to see what he would produce. Cute little calf. Looks mostly like its mama. And this one here that's walking away from me, she's the most skittish of my whole herd, and she's the last one that I bought from auction. And believe it or not, I was actually planning on taking her off to the sale just before her calf that's beside her was born. I had plans to take her to the sale, and that's one of the reasons why I built that heavier corral system, is with her in mind, because she's a little bit rambunctious. But just as soon as the ground got dry enough to be able to get the trailer back there, I saw her bag was filling out, and I said, well, we'll see what the calf looks like and how she does. And so far she's been a pretty good mama. She's still very skittish, but calf was looking really good. Big old floppy ears. And then that little calf there, that's his mama. That's a little bull. He was born 2 days ago. And when I moved the cows over onto this side, he was off in another section of the pasture, so he got to ride on top of the four-wheeler with me. He wasn't too happy with me, but he got reunited with mama.